Namaste, Namaskara. I'm Katie. This is our Tuesday morning slow flow. We'll have a couple of blocks. Strap will come in handy, a blanket, and then a big bolster for the end of class. So you can kind of set that aside. You won't need it till the end. We're going to start in a restorative rest. So lying on your back. I think it's really cold and chilly, so something nice you could do for yourself today is maybe take your blanket, unfold it one or two times to lay on, which will also come in handy as we come into our warm up. Come to lay on your back, plant your feet about a little wider than hip width distance apart. You can click your heels slightly out, let your knees fall in, supporting each other. Let your arms rest wherever it feels natural and comfortable to do so. And just find a little wiggles, get some of that little creaks and cranks out, and then try to come to find stillness. And we'll arrive here on the mat today with a few rounds of cleansing breath, drawing air in through the nose, filling the low belly, low chest, upper chest, and then opening the mouth when you're ready and exhaling out. Two more just like that, honoring your body, filling up to your own limitation, and then opening the mouth, exhale, letting go of stress, worries, to-dos. One more full inhale through the nose, opening the mouth and letting it out. And then we'll take a moment here to check in with our physical body. Just noticing areas that might feel tight or restricted. Maybe noticing areas in your body that feel neutral. And then start to bring your attention to how you feel mentally today. Maybe your energy is moving really fast, a lot going on in your mind. Maybe you're feeling really bright and light. Wherever you're at, no judgment, just notice it. As we enter the new year, I've been focusing a lot on foundation. Foundation in our practice physically. Where are we at? Can we feel the ground pressing up into our body? Can we feel our body rooting into the earth? And then adding on to that foundation, we think about stability. And then throughout our lives, throughout our days, how does that transfer into how we are as people? What are the fundamentals, the foundation of how you want to live your life? And then what are the things that you can do to strengthen and support that? The Dalai Lama says it is worth remembering that the time of greatest gain in terms of wisdom and inner strength and is often that of greatest difficulty. As we move through our poses, recognizing that challenge is where we grow, develop. It's not a sign of failure, but a sign of effort. We'll take another deep inhale, open the eyes, plant our hands right alongside our waist, our hips. If you have anything underneath your head, we're going to remove that because we're going to come into bridge pose. That extra pressure on the back of your head can strain your neck. So we'll heel toe our feet so that our knees are stacked over our heels. Our heels walk in towards our bum. And then plant your hands either side of your hips and then root your heels into the ground. Press the forearms, the upper arms, the shoulders into the ground, just creating a little bit of our foundation, feeling that foundation. And then to add a little bit of strength and stability in this structure, we'll drag our heels towards our shoulders. From there, we might start to feel the back of our thighs and calves waken up. And then press into your heels, lift your hips up towards the sky, bridge pose, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Make sure that you're breathing, release any tension that you might be clamping into your jaw or shoulders. Find a little bit of pressure into the upper arms and across the back of your shoulders as you lift your heart center a little higher. Draw your tailbone towards the back of your knees. And then on an exhale, we'll slowly lower the hips down to the ground. Good morning, hamstrings. Find that same foundation. Find that engagement as you root into your feet, into the back of your body. Can you drag the heels to your shoulders? And then on an inhale, lift the hips up towards the ceiling. And on your exhale, you can lower your hips to the ground. Little dynamic movement here. Inhale, your hips lift. And when you exhale, lower down, finding your own cadence here. Continue to pulse, lifting and lowering, bringing your attention to that foundation as you're rooting everything that's pressing into the earth. And then lifting with everything above it. Last time, lift the hips and pause. Just notice how this might feel a little different from the first bridge pose that you did. Take one more deep inhale, press into the feet, press into the shoulders, lift the chest to the chin, chin to the ceiling. Exhale, roll it down. You can take your arms out to a T and just windshield wiper your legs gently from one side to the other. The next time that your legs roll over to the right side, we'll pause on a simple twist. You can bring that left leg to stack right on top of the right. Come onto the outer edge of your right hip. Let your left arm, shoulder be heavy towards the earth. Coming into this twist here, gaze can stay up towards the ceiling or maybe over that left shoulder. One more full inhale. On your next exhale, take your left arm up and over to meet with your right arm. And then we can bend into that right arm, create a little pillow for your head. And then you can kickstand that left hand just in front of your torso. We're going to clamshell our knee towards the ceiling, keeping one foot stacked on top of the other. Exhale to close. Inhale to open, linking our movement with our breath. Just bring your attention to your foundation, rooting down through the outer edge of the right leg and hip. And then feel the strength of the left hip opening and closing that leg. And the next time your knee lifts up, we'll pause here. Breathe. Feel the engagement of the glutes. Holding that leg open, such a small, subtle movement, but can be so engaging into the muscles. And then exhale, we'll let that knee close down. We'll grab onto our strap, unfurl it, create a little loop with one hand, and then you can kickstand, hold your head with your right hand, and then bring the ball of your foot through that strap. And then we'll allow the strap to slide through our hands as we straighten the left leg up towards the ceiling. Beautiful dog. So we're in a knee bent Vishnu's reclined chair pose, couch pose. So come back onto the outer edge of that right hip. See if you can stack your body along the outer edge of your right body. And then press the leg up towards the ceiling, gently holding onto that strap. As we balance, can you root down through everything touching on the ground and then press up and lift through everything else? Deep inhale, full exhale. We're going to keep that leg lifted. You can take the strap off of the foot, kickstand your hand right back along in front of your torso. We're going to play around a little bit with our hip rotation. So keeping the hip right now is an external rotation. Keep the toes pointing towards the back of the room, the heel pointed towards the front of the room. We'll slowly start to lower the leg any amount, drawing the heel towards the floor. The toes continue to point towards the ceiling. Inhale, lift. Exhale, slow to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale, slow to lower. Inhale, lift and pause right here. We'll turn from our hip to point the toes towards the short or the long edge of our mat. The heel of our foot will point behind us. So then as we start to lower the leg to the ground, the foot is now parallel with the floor. Inhale to lift. You might start to feel this. Continue to link your movement with your breath. As you exhale, you lower. Inhale, you lift. You'll feel this engagement more in the outer edges of your hips. Last time to lift. You can bend that knee. We'll roll back onto our back. Wiggle yourself to center. You can windshield wiper your legs slightly, letting that go. And then the next time your legs fall over to the left side, extend your arms out to a T. Draw your right leg to stack on top of your left. Gaze can stay up towards the ceiling or maybe look in the opposite direction of your knees. Continue to guide your right shoulder down towards the earth. Breathe into this twist. On your next inhale, reach your right arm up and over to meet with your left. Coming into a little fetal position, and then you can bend into your left elbow, resting your head on your forearm. Kickstand your right hand in front of you. On an inhale, clamshell, lifting the right knee up towards the ceiling. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Next time your knee points up towards the ceiling, pause. Breathe here. Feel that sensation, the strength of your hips working to hold that leg up in space. Exhale, lower that leg down, and then we'll kickstand our head to rest into our left hand. Take your strap. If you don't need the strap, if you feel like you have the flexibility, you can loop your two fingers around your big toe. A little strap goes around the ball of the foot. Extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Toes point behind your head. Heels point towards the foot end of your mat. Breathe here. Notice where your weight has shifted. Can you press down into all edges of that left leg as you extend your right leg up towards the ceiling? And gently release the strap. Kickstand your right hand back in front of you, keeping the rotation of your hip. Toes point towards the head end of your mat. Heel points towards the foot end of your mat. Slowly lower the heel towards the earth. Big toe points towards the ceiling. Inhale, lifts it up. Exhale to lower. See if you can find a little bit of engagement into the lower belly, creating some strength in that core. And the next time your leg lifts up towards the sky, we'll pause and then rotate from the hip, your legs, so your toes point in the same direction that you're looking. Your heel points behind you, and then slowly start to lower the leg to the ground. So now your foot is parallel to the earth. Inhale to lift. And just notice how that changes the sensation of where this is working in your hips, in your glutes, maybe even the low back and belly. Inhale, leg lifts, pause, bend back in, bringing both legs together. This time we're going to extend that arm back down, rest your head on your forearm, on your upper arm, and we're going to roll onto our belly. You can create a little kicks of pillow with your forearms and just wiggle, find a nice centering of your body here. We'll root down through the tops of our feet, draw your pelvic, your pubic bone down into the ground, lengthening your tailbone towards your heels. So keep that lower belly engagement as you then inhale, lift your right leg any amount. Keep the leg nice and straight. Lift from the inner edge of your right leg. So you're keeping a nice neutral rotation here. Continue to breathe. You might feel this. Can you find a little engagement in the glute? Exhale, right leg can lower. Straighten through the left leg. Lift it to hover up off the ground any amount. Maybe the knee lifts. Maybe the top of the thigh comes off the ground. Maybe the leg is still on the earth, but you're just feeling that sensation of trying to lift and hover. Exhale to lower. Inhale, right leg lifts. Hover that leg, keep the leg lifted, and then draw the right heel in towards your glute. This will wake up the hamstrings. Maybe it might find a little more difficult to hold that leg up in space. Find your lower belly, draw it into your chest or into your lower back. Exhale, extend the right leg back out, lower it down to the ground. Left leg lifts to hover. Draw the left heel in towards your glute. Feel the hamstring, the back of your left thigh awaken, drawing in. Press down through your right leg to help lift the left knee a little higher. Exhale, open and lower. And then you can draw your hands alongside your low ribs. Press yourself up, tabletop position. You can stack your wrists right underneath your shoulders, fingers spread wide, knees underneath your hips. You can bring your big toes to touch. Knees can come out a little bit wider than your hips. Sink your hips back. Child's pose. Keep your hands active here. Deep inhale. As you exhale, press your hands into the mat, finding more length in the lower back. As you inhale, draw the breath into your lower back, helping to spread and open through the hips. Inhale, hinge back forward, coming into that tabletop position. Hands are going to come onto blocks. Stack your full circumference of the hand on the block. You can let your fingers rest wherever is comfortable. Draw your lower belly in and up. And then we'll open our right leg fire hydrant and then swing it up and around, step that right foot to the outer edge of that right block. We're going to repeat that movement, lift the leg out, find that fire hydrant, and then step it back into a tabletop position. It doesn't have to come as high as mine. You can find whatever works. So inhale, lift the knee as much as you can, draw it out towards fire hydrant, step it out towards the outer edge of that right block. Lift, step it back into your tabletop position. Next time, we'll step that leg up and over, keeping this wide, low lunge. Inhale, rise up, Ardha Anjayanasana. Right knee stacks over your right ankle. Draw your tailbone heavy. And then as you press into your right heel and the left knee, shin, or foot, find that strong foundation And then act as if you're trying to draw your right heel towards your left knee. That'll wake up all the muscles in the legs, adding strength to your foundation. Exhale, hands can come back down towards the block. We'll step it back, tabletop position. Repeating that on the other side. Start to lift your left leg, finding that fire hydrant pose, and then draw the knee towards your shoulder. Step that left foot towards that block. Root down into your right knee. Both hands lift and step it back, tabletop position. Inhale to lift. Step it down. One more time, lift to step back into your tabletop position. Root down into your right side, lift that left leg, step it forward and pause. Root down into your left heel, your right leg. Inhale, rise up, Ardha Anjaneyasana, shoulders stack over hips. Lower belly, lift up, soften your lower ribs down. Open through your chest, press into your left heel, root down into your right shin or foot, and then draw the legs together as if you're scissoring them together, finding strength in the inner legs, the back of each of your thighs. Exhale, hands come back to blocks. Lift left leg, step it back. We'll draw our right knee in, step the foot between the blocks, pinky toe closest to the right block. Inhale, rise up, Ardha Anjaneyasana. And just notice how this feels different. We changed the foundation. We made it a little more narrow. Maybe you want to heel toe your right foot out to the side, making your foundation wider. If you feel really wobbly, you can make your stance wider. Root down into your right foot, your left knee. Draw the outer hips in. Draw the legs towards one another. Find strength and foundation. Left arm reaches forward. Right arm reaches back. Twisted low lunge. Take a deep breath. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Soften through the shoulders. Exhale, we'll hinge, bringing the left hand to the block. Right arm reaches up towards the sky. Twisted low lunge. Right hip is going to want to lift up towards the sky to make this twist feel bigger. Maybe the gaze comes down as you draw your right hip back in and down towards the floor. Exhale, hands come down to the blocks. As we walk our blocks back, we'll straighten into our right leg for a half split. The ball of the foot can stay on the ground or it can lift up towards the ceiling. Try to keep your left hip still stacked over your knee rather than sinking hips all the way to the floor. And then reach your heart center towards the front of your mat. To add a little more stretch into your hamstring, you can lift your tailbone slightly up towards the ceiling. Exhale, walk the blocks back forward, come into your low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge, root down into the hands, left knee, step that right foot back, maybe finding a little cat in your spine. And we'll step that left foot forward, planting it on the inner edge of that left block. Root down through your left knee, your back of your right leg. Inhale, rise up, Ardha Anjaneyasana, half crescent lunge. Again, take a moment here to root down. Feel that foundation, everything touching the ground. Look to find strength in the legs and the hips as you engage them, drawing them in, squeezing muscle to bone. We'll start to twist, reaching our right arm forward, letting our left arm reach back any amount. Breathing here. You feel a little wobbly. You can heel toe that left foot out to the side. Keeping this twist, we'll slowly start to hinge, bringing our right hand to the block. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Draw that outer left hip down and back, root down through everything on the earth. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. Exhale, both hands come down to the blocks. Slowly start to walk your hands back as you come into your half split. Find your foundation here. Reach your heart center forward. Just noticing how one side might feel more open than the other. And then exhale, walk the arms forward, bend back into the knee, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Draw the knee up, tabletop position. Blocks can come out to the side. We're going to come down onto our forearms. We're looking to keep our shoulders stacked right over our elbows, our knees still stacked underneath our hips. Option to spread your fingers wide, forearms parallel to one another. Or you can clasp your fingers together, bringing one pinky to the inner edge of that palm so you can press down on both outer edges of each hand, whatever works for you here. Then we'll tuck our right toes, slide our right leg back. And then inhale, lift the right leg any amount. So we often do that little bird dog and tabletop where we extend our leg out, just noticing how the shift in our upper body changes how this feels in our body. Lift your lower belly in and up. Draw your right heel towards your right glute. Inhale, extends it out. Exhale, knee to bum. Inhale, extend that back out. Lower the right knee to come back underneath your hip. Root down through the forearms. Extend your left foot back, sliding through the ball of your foot, keeping the heel stacked over your second and third toe. Inhale, left leg lifts, trying to create a straight line from knee to hip to head, but finding whatever lift is available to you in your body. Spin the outer edge of your leg down, and then draw your left heel towards your left glute. Inhale, lengthens it out. Exhale, draw heel towards bum. Inhale to lengthen. Bring that knee back to meet with your other knee. You can rise back up, tabletop position. Walk your hands forward, one hand's distance. Tuck your toes. Sink your hips back. Lift up. Coming into your downward facing dog. Bending your knees any amount. We're looking for length in our spine. You can tick-tock your hips side to side, bending into one knee, straightening into the other. And then come to find stillness. Can you root down into your hands using the full hand rather than pressing all the weight into the heel of your hand? Lift your hips up and away from the crown of your head. Inhale, look forward, tiptoe, feet towards your hands, forward fold. Bending your knees as much as you need to, gentle shake of your head, yes and no. And then inhale, halfway lift, find tabletop in your spine. See if you can reach your heart center towards the floor, lift your shoulders up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms reach up and over, Utthita Asta and Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. We've made it. We're on our feet. So just take a moment here. You might want to move your blanket or have it nearby on the side. We will be doing a little bit more on our knees through our practice, but not as long. So find your foundation in your feet. Rock back and forth, side to side. Feel the base of the big toe, pinky toe, either side of your heels rooting down. Then from here, hug the muscles of your legs in. So you found your foundation. Now find that strength and stability. We're not squeezing with all of our might, but just kind of acknowledging that there's muscle there, hugging it in. On an inhale, reach your arms up and over. Exhale, hinge forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Root to rise. Inhale, Utthita Asta and Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands either side of your feet. Step back, plank pose. Shoulders over wrists, heels press back. Draw your tailbone up and back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Root down into the all 10 fingertips. Reach your right leg up and back, three-legged dog. We'll hinge forward, coming into a three-legged plank. Draw your right knee underneath your right hip, heel hovers. And then exhale, lower that right shin down to the ground. So we're in a tabletop variation. And then lift your left leg up. Yes, fun little way to get into some positions that we find ourselves in often. Reach the left leg up. You can keep both arms planted on the ground. Maybe right arm lifts bicep alongside your ear, bird dog. Exhale, lower your right hand down to the ground. We'll start to draw our left knee in towards our left armpit, coming into a fire hydrant. And then extend the leg out straight, slowly lower the leg to the earth. So the ball or so the arch of the left foot is in line with that right knee. And then you can walk yourself up, stacking shoulders over hips. And then finding our foundation here. Right hip is right over that right knee. Root down through your right shin. Press into the outer edge of that left foot. And then hug the outer edge of your right hip in. Find strength in your foundation. Arms can reach up and over. Exhale, gate pose. Right hand comes to the outer edge of your right thigh. Reach your left arm up and over. So your right arm up and over. Deep inhale. Try to keep your shoulders square to the front of the room. And just notice what happened to your foundation here. Can you find strength and stability? Root into your foundation. Hug muscles in. Inhale, tee out the arms. Hinge, bring your right hand to the floor. Left arm reaches up, knee down, side plank variation, option to continue to root into that left foot. Or maybe the left leg lifts any amount, maybe coming to hip height. Now, I don't know about you, but the outer edge of my right hip really wakes up here. Can you press your pelvis forward? Can you draw the outer edge of that right hip in? Beautiful job. Exhale, lower the left leg, cartwheel that left arm down, coming back into our tabletop position. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Root down into the hands, fingertips press down. Lift that left leg, three-leg dog. Spin the pinky toe side of your leg down. Try to keep that neutral rotation in your hips. Inhale, hinge forward. Draw that left knee in. Let it dangle underneath, stacking knee underneath hip. And then slowly lower the left shin to the ground, knees underneath hip. Inhale, lift your right leg up behind you. Draw your low belly and root down through everything on the ground. And then extend that left arm forward. If you feel stable, if you feel a little wobbly, keep the 3 points of contact onto the earth. Draw your outer left hip in. On your exhale, lower your left hand down to the ground. Find your right knee coming in towards a fire hydrant. Extend your right leg straight and slowly lower down to the ground. Inhale, walk your hands back, come to stack your shoulders over hips. Just notice how one side feels different from the other. Your left knee is in line with the arch of your right foot. Press the outer edge of your right foot down into the ground. Draw your tailbone heavy and down. Draw the outer edge of your left hip in. Inhale, reach your arms up and over. Gate pose, right leg. Sorry, I'm not, I'll mirror you. Right arm comes towards the right thigh. Left arm reaches up and over. Breathe here. Can you press into your right shin, even though the weight is shifted over to the left? Inhale, rise up, arms come out to a T. Bring your left hand down towards the mat. Right arm reaches up. Option to keep that right foot extended or maybe lift to hip height, coming into your knee down side plank variation. Draw the outer edge of your left hip in. Press your pelvis forward. Breathe. Exhale, leg can lower, come back into your tabletop position. Knees can come wide, big toes can touch. Sink it back, child's pose for 2 rounds of breath, letting that all go. Hinge forward, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward, step, walk or hop, top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, Utthita Asta and Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Get a little shake, let all that go. We're going to come to face the wide edge of our mat, bringing a block to either side of your mat, just slightly behind you, just so that they'll be there, easy to grab. You can turn to face the right edge of your mat. So if you're facing me, what would be your right side? Okay. So from here, we'll extend our arms out to a T, step our legs out nice and wide. Ideally, ankles under wrists, but honestly, being honest with your body, finding what works for you here. And then find your foundation, root your feet into the ground, hug your muscles to bone, draw your tailbone heavy. Lift your left heel, bend into your left knee. From your hip socket, spin the left knee and toes to the front of the room, and then lower the heel to the ground. Kick your right heel slightly back. So all toes angle or point into the same direction. Square your shoulders with the long edge of your mat. Shoulders stack over hips rather than hinging forward. And then turn your gaze over your fingertips. Warrior two. Press your your left heel into the ground. Root into the outer edge of your back foot. And like that scissoring, draw the legs together to feel that engagement. So you've got your foundation of your feet rooting into the ground. Find that strength in your stability. On an inhale, start to straighten into the front leg, reach your arms up and over. As we shift our weight into the ball of our foot, when we straighten our leg, a little micro bend in the knee. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, warrior two, pause. We'll straighten back into that front leg. Shift your hips back as you reach your front arm as far forward as you can. Keep lengthen your torso. And then when you can't reach anymore, you can hinge, bringing that front arm to that block just behind your front ankle. Reach that other arm up towards the ceiling. Square your shoulders towards the long edge of your mat. Gaze can be wherever feels comfortable for your neck. Continue to breathe here. And then bring your attention to your feet, root down. Bring your attention to that strength in the legs as you press the muscles into bone. Turn your gaze back down towards the floor, bend into the front knee, cartwheel back up, warrior two. Hands can come to hips. You can swivel everything back out, parallel outer edges of your feet with the short edge of your mat. Deep inhale. Exhale, let that go. Repeating that on the other side, we'll lift our right heel, bend into our right knee from your hip socket. So we're not cranking on the knee joint. Turn that knee to the point and just to point behind you. So your right heel will be right underneath your right knee, and then click your left heel out slightly. So all toes point or angle into the same direction. Swivel your shoulders to be parallel with the long edge of your mat. Make sure shoulders are stacked right over hips rather than hinging forward. Extend your arms out to a T. Just notice if your left arm is hinging way back behind. Arms will be stacked right over the legs. And then turn your gaze gently over your right fingertips. Press into your right heel, root down into the outer edge of that left leg. Feel your feet pressing down, rooting into the earth, and then draw the legs towards one another. Wake up the muscles, let muscle stability and strength together. Make sure you're breathing, not clenching in your jaw. On your inhale, lift and lengthen, straighten into that right knee, little micro bend in the knee. Weight shifts to the ball of the foot. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, warrior two. Pause here, straighten into your right knee. Left hip shifts back. Reach and hinge from the hips. Right arm reaches towards that prop wall as far as you can. And then hinge forward, bringing your right hand to your block. Just on the outer edge of your right foot or ankle, spin your left shoulder up. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling, forward or down. Continue to breathe here. Continue to press into your feet and draw the muscles in, giving you a hug. Deep inhale. Turn your gaze down towards the floor, bend back into that right leg, rise up, warrior two, and then hands can come to hips, swivel everything out. Give it a little shake, a little shimmy. You can heel toe your feet together. Just let it all go. Let your arms fling around you. And we have one more little series before we come down to the floor. We're going to play around a little bit with our balance today. If you like to have a wall, you can come to a wall. We'll start with a little dynamic movement in our balance, and then we'll come to find some little bit of longer holds. Find your foundation, root through your feet. Root down through your left foot, lift your right knee to hip height. Hands can stay alongside your hips. Maybe they extend out to the side. Maybe your hands come to your hips. And then we'll bend our knees, come into a chair pose, reach your arms forward. Inhale, root into your right foot, lift your left knee, hip height, one-legged mountain. Plant it down, chair pose. We're going to march just like this. Two more on each side. Root down into the left. Right knee comes to hip height. Exhale, we come low. Inhale, change sides, lift and lengthen. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, chair. Inhale, right leg roots. Left knee lifts. Exhale, chair pose. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, pause. We're going to root down into our right foot, bend into our left knee, kickstand that left foot right alongside the inner edge of that right foot. So from here, we're going to come into tree pose. You might, okay, it's just so your knee doesn't hit the wall. I was going to say you might want to turn the other way just so your knee. So kickstand your right foot to the inner edge of your left foot. I think that's what I said. And then from your hip socket, we're going to allow that knee to start to open to the side. The moment your standing hip starts to swivel, that means you've reached your range of motion in your hips. So before we do anything else, root down into your standing foot, hug the muscles of the legs in, feel the outer edge of your hip draw in, feel the glutes of that standing leg draw in. And then maybe that foot can hover right alongside the ankle. Maybe it comes up and alongside your calf. Maybe you take your hand to your ankle and bring the foot to the inner edge of your standing leg. If you bring your foot to the inner edge of your standing leg, foot presses into leg, leg pushes into foot so our hip doesn't jut out. If you like, as an option, you can bring a block just in front of you to find that little bit of a lift, but still have that little kickstand. Just want to avoid the outer edge of the knee. We don't want to press the knee into the knee joint. Continue to breathe here. We're going to hold this for a few rounds of breath. If you wobble and fall, that's okay. Find your foundation. Engage the strength and stability. Find a drishti, something to help hold your focal point. And as you inhale and exhale, your body creates motion and movement. So naturally, we will sway. One more inhale. One more exhale. Slowly lower the leg down to the ground. Release it, shake it out. Beautiful job. All right. One more side. Rooting down into your feet. Find your foundation. Feel the feet rooting into the earth. Shift your weight into your right foot or the other one. I got confused on my right to left. Just switch sides. So your other foot, root down, feel the muscles of the legs hug in. Notice that hip. As soon as you shift your weight, it's going to want to jut out to the side. Draw that in. Bend into your other knee. Kickstand that foot right alongside the inner edge of your standing foot. And then we'll start to open the knee out to the corner of the room. And then once you feel stable enough, you can play around with where you want to bring your foot. Maybe it stays right on the earth. Maybe it comes alongside the inner edge of the ankle. Maybe you liked the option of a block. Make sure you're not holding your breath. That standing foot is going to wiggle and wobble as it works to hold you in space, strengthening the muscles in your feet, engaging the muscles in your calves. Two more rounds of breath. One more deep inhale. Exhale, release it. Let it go. You guys did great. We're going to come down to the floor. You're going to want to have your bigger bolster just alongside your legs so it's easy to slide underneath when we come to that point. If you like to have anything for your shavasana, just bring it within easy grabs. You could put your socks on now if you wanted, or whatever else might be comfy. You're just going to want to have a block nearby to grab. Mm. We're going to set up like we did at the beginning of class, as if you're coming into bridge pose. Plant your heels down onto the ground and lift your hips just enough so that you can slide a block right underneath your sacrum. Avoid the tailbone, avoid the lower spine. And then we'll lift our knees and extend our legs up towards the ceiling, coming into legs up the wall. The block gives your lower back a little bit of space so that you can lift and straighten the legs a little bit more. You're always welcome to come to the wall, to place your heels on the wall. Maybe stillness feels really good for you right now, or maybe you want to circle out your ankles, wiggle the toes, allowing blood flow to return to the heart and the lungs. We just asked a lot of our feet, our legs, and our hips, bringing our attention of gratitude, all the things that our body can do for us, and our efforts in tending to them. Slowly start to bend into the knees, planting your feet on the ground and lifting your hips just enough to slide that block out from underneath. And then we're going to hook our right ankle just over our left thigh, coming into a figure four. And using the muscles in our hips to draw the right knee away from our face, finding a nice stretch here in this figure four. You can leave that left foot planted on the ground, or maybe lifting the leg, threading your right hand through that little figure four, holding onto the back of your thigh. Sometimes stillness feels really good. Sometimes I like to rock a little side to side here and just see where the stretch moves and shifts in my body. Slowly release the bind, bring that foot back down towards the earth. And you can continue to cross your right leg over your left thigh as if you were like sitting in a chair with your legs crossed. Extend your arms out to a T. And then allow your legs to hinge over to the left, any amount. Maybe your knees come to a block or that bolster. Maybe that feels too intense of a twist. You can stack that right leg on top of the left leg. Again, gaze can be up towards the ceiling or over the right shoulder. One more full inhale. Use your exhale to hinge you up through center. Release the bind. And we'll repeat all that on the other side. Left ankle hooks over the right knee. Draw the left knee towards the front of the room. And then option to stay with that right foot grounded, or you can find that bind holding onto the back of the right thigh. Exhale, gently release the bind, lower the right foot down to the ground, and we'll continue to cross that left leg over the right thigh. Arms extend out to a T, and then allow your legs to roll over to the right side. And again, noticing if this doesn't feel right, if you feel pinching or severe pulling, you can stack that right leg right underneath the left. Take one more deep inhale. On your exhale, roll back through center, release the bind. We're going to come into Supta Bandha Konasana for our Shavasana today. You don't have to take it, but it's a beautiful way to really allow our hips to relax and release. We'll take that bolster. We're going to slide it. The long edge of the bolster will come right underneath our seat. And then you can plant your feet and legs so that they're touching just on the other side of the bolster. And then allow your knees to open wide. The soles of your feet can come together. So the bolster will hold and support the legs. Maybe give your tailbone a little tuck towards your heels to lengthen the lower back. And then you can let your hands fall and rest wherever feels the most comfortable. We did a lot of grounding work today. And if you're looking for a little bit more, you can turn your palms to the earth. You're looking to receive energy, palms face up. Maybe you'd like to center one hand on the belly, one on the heart. For the next few minutes, you have nowhere else you need to be, but right here, right now, allowing your practice to integrate into your body. As your mind wanders, because it will, just honor what comes. And then draw your attention back to the sensation of your body being supported by the props below you or the rhythm and cadence of your breath. I'll pay attention to the time and call you out when we're ready. Start to draw in a deep breath, bringing your attention back into your body and the space around you. And gently start to bring movement into the hands and feet, the elbows and knees. And eventually drawing your knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug in Apanasana. And when you're ready, rolling over to the right side in the fetal position, pausing for just a moment more before we rise. I am strong enough to handle whatever comes my way. And the Dalai Lama reminds us, it is worth remembering that the time of greatest gain in terms of wisdom and inner strength is often that of greatest difficulty. Gently press your left hand to the floor, keeping your gaze soft and your head heavy. Finding a seated, comfortable position, and then bringing palms together at heart center. Gently bowing your face to your hands. We'll close today's practice with the universal sound of Om. I invite you to join or listen. Take a deep inhale here. Om. The love, light, and peace within me sees and honors the love, light, and peace within each of you. Namaste. Namaste, Aline. Bye. Have a great day. Thank you guys so much.